Good morning. This is Muhammad Suleiman, Assistant Professor of Commerce, working at MVS Government Degree College Autonomous, Mehboob Nagar. Today, let us learn about trademarks. As all of us know, that every business in this competitive world want to create its own identity and wants to differentiate its products with that of their competitors. Therefore, they aim at making their products unique and differentiating their products by using symbols, names, tags, alphanumeric characters, graphical representations, and so on. Therefore, in this situation, it is important for us to learn about trademarks, what are those trademarks, and how trademarks are registered, and how the registered users or owners of the trademarks can use the trademarks. So, now let us see the objectives of today's lesson. So, in this lesson today, we will be learning about introduction to trademarks, definition of trademarks, and various related terms under the Trademarks Act, and conditions for registration of trademarks, and procedure for registration of trademarks, and duration of registration. Then we will be seeing about infringement of registered trademarks and remedies against infringement of trademarks. So now let us see the introduction part to trademarks. What a trademarks actually mean. So trademarks are vital part of today's business. So every business wants to create its own mark, its own symbol in business so that they can differentiate their product with that of their competitors. Therefore, trademarks have now emerged as a vital part of today's business world. And trademarks facilitate marketing of goods and services by enabling the buyers to identify the goods and services with the producers and traders supplying them. So, therefore, the trademarks indicate the source from which the products have come from, or the place from which the products have been manufactured, and so on. And the trademarks proprietor or the user will get the registered trademark as a right, which in turn will increase his goodwill as well as reputation in the market, and his identity in the market and reputation in the market will increase. Therefore, trademark may consist a letter, trademark may consist a numeral, trademark may consist a graphical representation, or a combination of all these things. When trademark is registered by a user or by a owner of the trademark, it is the person who is the authorized user, or who is the proprietor. He only can use the trademark and others cannot use the trademark. Therefore, trademark act creates a right to the owner, and that right is given in the form of an intellectual property right. So by registering a trademark, a person will get an intellectual property right, and the intellectual property right can be the right of the registered trademark owner. Now we may have a doubt, who can be a registered trademark owner? Besides the manufacturer, an importer or even a salesperson can seek a registration of a trademark. So it does not necessarily mean that only a manufacturer can ask for registration of a trademark. Not only the manufacturer but also an importer or a distributor or sometimes a salesman may also seek a registration of trademark. If we see the history of trademarks in India, the Trade and Mercantile Marks Act was passed in the year 1958, and it was used to prevent the misuse of trademarks in India. So the persons who are having the registered trademarks, they were given a right to be protected against the misleading advertisements or wrongdoers by copying the trademarks of the registered owners. But due to globalization, there was a need felt to adopt a new act in the area of trademarks. Hence, in the year 1999, the Trademarks Act 1999 was passed, and it has replaced the old act, that is the Trade and Merchandised Marks Act 1958. Though the act was passed in the year 1999, all the provisions of the act came into force in the month of September 2003, and the details of the Trademarks Act 1999 were published in the Gazette of India on 26 February 2002. And there are some changes which have been made in the Trademarks Act 1999 over the Trade and Mercantile Marks Act 1958. Let us list out a few changes that have been made in the Trademarks Act 1999. First one, a registration of service marks is also allowed now. Earlier, there used to be registration of only trademarks. Now, with the enactment of new act, that is the Trademarks Act 1999, a registration of service marks is also allowed. Then collective marks are also provided as per the new act. For example, if one particular place is famous for manufacture of one particular thing, let us take for example the handloom. If one particular area is famous for handloom, then trademarks are given collectively to that area called by that name or by that area. For example, if in a particular district handlooms are famous, trademarks, a collective trademark can be given with the name of that particular district with a name handloom. And in this act, a new appellate board has also been set up. And one important point that has to be noted in this is the procedure. The procedure for registration of trademarks has been simplified, and the offenses of infringement of trademarks now are cognizable. So, any offense infringing the trademark of some other registered owner will be viewed seriously, and it is taken as a cognizable offense. Therefore, the ambit of Trademarks Act 1999 is very wide, and the new act provides for a single register, unlike A and B that used to be in the old act. And one more feature in this is the penalty for applying for a false trademark is raised from rupees 50,000 to rupees 2 lakhs. Therefore, the person who claims for a wrong trademark will be levied a fine of rupees 2 lakhs rupees. Earlier, it used to be just 50,000 rupees. Therefore, the enactment of Trademarks Act 1999 is a landmark decision here. If we look at the main objective of enactment of Trademarks Act 1999 is to provide better protection to the owners of the trademarks and to prevent the fraudulent marks. Therefore, this act aims at safeguarding the interest of the trademarks owners. So, having known the brief introduction about trademarks, now let us see the definition of trademarks. So, trademark is a symbol which indicates the source of a particular good. So, if we go in detail, a trademark means a mark capable of being represented graphically and which is capable of distinguishing the goods and services from those of others and may include shape of goods, their packaging, and combination of colors. So now the definition of trademark given in the latest act is very wide. Therefore, it is a mark. It is a mark. So now we have to understand what is meant by mark. A mark can be a brand, a mark can be a device, a mark can be a letter, a mark can be a numeral, a mark can be a signature, and so on. Therefore, trademark can be a mark. A mark can be a letter, number, graphical representation, device, brand, signature, alphabet, or a combination of two or three or all of these is called a mark. Therefore, trademark means a mark capable of being represented graphically. It shall be represented graphically. That means it should be shown in a symbolic form. It shall be shown in a symbolic form, and which is capable of distinguishing it from the others. So the goods or services that are being offered by the registered trademark owner shall be distinguished from the goods and services offered by the others, offered by other competitors. And sometimes it may include the shape of goods, the packaging, the combination, or the color, or sometimes some of them or all of them. Now let us see what is meant by goods here. By goods we means anything which is the subject of trade and manufacturing. So here the term goods is a very wide and anything anything which is subject matter of trade and manufacturing. So all those things which include in this category are called goods. Now let us see what is meant by package. Package means anything which is like a box, container, folder, vessel, wrapper, bottle, and so on. So all these things are called as a package. Now let us see what is meant by assignment. By assignment means in writing by act of the parties concerned the regarding the trademark. Sometimes it could be associated trademark, sometimes it could be certification trademark, sometimes it could be collective trademark also. Therefore, trademark means a mark that is capable of being represented graphically and which is capable of distinguishing the goods and services from those of others and may include the shape of goods, their packaging, and combination of colors. Now we have some more terms which are defined in the Act, that is a registered proprietor. Who is a registered proprietor here? A registered proprietor is a person for whom the registration of trademark is given. So the trademark is given in his name, and the mark is called a registered trademark. So registered trademark means a trademark which is entered in the register of the registrar of trademarks. Therefore, the registrar of trademarks will maintain a register, and register means the register of trademarks referred in the section 6 of 1. Therefore, the person who has taken the registered trademark is called registered user, and the person who is sanctioning or allotting the trademark is called a registrar. So the person who is allotting is called registrar, and the person who has registered the trademark is called the registered proprietor. Having seen the definition part of the trademark, let us move on and see the conditions for registration of trademark. The central government by notification shall appoint the person who is in charge or who is responsible for registration of trademarks, that is the controller general of patents, designs and trademarks. And this office is situated in the place where the central government feels suitable, and sometimes the head office may be located at some place, and territorial offices may be located in the area where the central government feels necessary of establishing. And there shall be a seal of trademarks registry which is authorized by the central government. Therefore, the register of trademarks is maintained at every office and will contain all the details of the persons who have registered their trademarks, their names, addresses, their symbols, and their details like assignments, transmissions, and so on. Therefore, all such records shall be maintained in that office in the soft form, that is in the form of computer floppies, or in the form of hard disks, or in the form of memory, and so on. Therefore, the register that is maintained by the registrar office shall contain all the details that are necessary to be maintained as per the act. Now let us see what are the important details that shall be recorded in a register. First one, copy of register of trademarks. So this shall be maintained at every office. The copy of register of trademarks, then copies of applications of registrations. So all those who have applied for registrations, their copy shall also be maintained. Then notices to the opposition of registration of trademarks. If there was some opposition while registering a trademark, then what is the position of the opposition and how the opposition was dealt. Then application for rectifications. If there are some rectifications at the time of uh, granting the trademarks, what are those rectifications that have been undertaken? Then the index of pending applications of trademarks. How many applications are pending for sanction of trademarks? Then index of registered trademarks. How many registered trademarks are available in one particular area? Then registered users of trademarks and their details. Who are the registered users and what are their addresses and names, and all these things shall be maintained. Therefore, the trademarks registry office that is situated at one particular place shall maintain all those things which are essential as per the official gazette given by the government of India. Therefore, the registration of trademarks can be refused by showing some appropriate reasons also. There could be many reasons. Here I have mentioned three reasons, but there could be any other reasons for which the registration of trademarks is refused. There can be some absolute ground. So absolute ground can be established on a reason which is very strong, and which has some reason also. For example, if the internet trademark deceives the public, if the internet trademark deceives the public, or sometimes it may create a lot of confusion in the public, the name, the symbol, or the alphanumeric value that is used in the uh, trademark may cause confusion to the public also. Then, in such a case, on absolute grounds, the registration of trademark can be refused. And sometimes, if the proposed trademark is hurting any religious susceptibilities, if it is sensitive and is likely to hurt the religious susceptibilities, then the registration of trademark can be refused on absolute grounds. And sometimes, if it contains or comprises of any matter which is obscene, then in this case also the registration of trademarks can also be refused, and so on. They like this. There are many reasons on which the refusal of registration of trademarks can be provided. And sometimes it may happen that there is some relative ground in which the refusal of trademark is possible. If the proposed trademark is likely to have an identity with the earlier trademark, earlier there is one trademark and the proposed trademark is likely to have an identity with the earlier trademark, then the refusal of registration can happen on some relative grounds. Or if it is similar to the earlier trademark which is already there in use by some registered owner or by some proprietor, then in such case the refusal of registration of trademarks can be put on the basis of some relative grounds. And sometimes it happens that people may propose for registering of trademarks in the chemical elements and their names. If the chemical elements and their names are common in usage and everyone knows it, then such trademarks shall not be registered and such trademarks or names shall be prohibited. Therefore, prohibition of registration of such names and chemical elements is also not allowed, and the conditions for registration will not permit for registration of such names. And sometimes the registration of trademarks is not permitted due to the deceptive similarity that possess in the proposed proposed trademark. For example, the nature and degree of resemblance between the marks and similarity in ideas exists, then the registration of trademark is considered to be deceptive one. Then the nature, character, and purpose of goods. Then sometimes mode of purchasing goods or placing in orders. So when all these things are considered, these factors are generally considered to determine any deceptive similarity. If there is any deceptive similarity, then registration of trademarks can be refused. So after seeing the conditions of registration of trademarks, now let's go for procedure for registration of trademarks. The procedure for registration of trademarks is a detailed one and starts from application of search and application for search and ends with the registration, which is the last step in this process. So the first step is the person who wishes to apply for a registration of new trademark shall first apply for search in a form called TM54. So TM54 is a form which intends to search the name of the proposed trademark in the existing lists. So it will be checked whether the name which is proposed or the name which the applicant wants to get as a trademark is already in usage by someone else or not. So if someone else is using that name, that number, or that alphanumeric character, then that name or the alphanumeric character will not be registered because it's already in usage. So for this purpose, an application for search shall be submitted, and after submission of this application, the details of such uh, application will be searched with the available list of trademarks and will be seen whether the trademark can be given or not. So at the end of the search, if it is found that the name is already in use by some other proprietor, then that trademark will not be registered and the application will be rejected. And if it is found that no such name is already in existence and no one is using that, then the application is accepted and the permission is granted for the application of a registration form. Once the clearance of search is over, now application for registration will be accepted. So a person who wishes to get an application, a registration of trademark has to apply in a specified format, and this application has to be forwarded within the territorial limits wherein the area of the applicant falls, and a single application may be submitted for registration of goods and services which are manufactured by a single owner. And uh, once the application is filed, then the registrar will verify the application, and before the acceptance of registration of trademark is done, withdrawal of acceptance opportunity is provided to the applicant. So once the registration of trademarks form is accepted, withdrawal facility will not be provided. Before the registration of trademark, if the registrar is satisfied, he may permit for withdrawal of acceptance. If he is satisfied that the application has been accepted in error, that is, the application has been accepted erroneously, or that in circumstances of the case the trademark should be registered subject to the conditions or limitations. So, in the meanwhile, if some limitations are developed, then the registrar may, after hearing the applicant, if he so desires, withdraw the acceptance and proceed as if the application has not been accepted. So, in simple terms, the application will be withdrawn and there will be no further action. And after this step, there will be no registration of trademarks. So after this step is over, if the application is accepted and continued, there will be one more step called advertisement of application. So the advertisement of application is given in the journal published by Government of India, that is the journal called Trademarks Journal. So trademarks journal is published by the Government of India, and the person who is desirous to get some trademark, the details of that person and the details as so desired, the name, alphanumeric characters, symbols will be published in this journal, and the advertisement will be given together. And provided that the registrar may cause the application to be advertised before acceptance under certain circumstances. So sometimes it may happen, but advertisement of application is given in the journal. And in response to this advertisement, if there is any opposition to registration, the person who is opposing the proposed registration has to come forward and mention his version as to why he is opposing the registration. So, any person who is likely to oppose the registration of a proposed trademark has to respond within a time of 3 months from the date of publication of the journal, and has to mention as to why he is opposing the registration of the trademark. If no opposition is received within a due time, within 3 months, let us assume, then the registrar will feel that there is no opposition in this desired trademark, and the activity will move further. If there is no registration, if there is no opposition, the activity will move further. Or if there is opposition, then the details of the opposition will be checked and a proper decision will be taken by the registrar as to how the opposition has to be treated. And in case of any opposition, the registrar will serve a copy of opposition to the intended uh, proprietor of the registered trademark, that is the applicant, and he will ask for his clarification. If no clarification is provided by the applicant within 2 months, then the registrar will deem that the application has been withdrawn. If clarification is given by the applicant, then the registrar will take a suitable decision as to accept the application or not. If the registrar feels that the application shall be accepted, then the application will move further by clarifying the opposition raised, and the trademark registration process will continue. So now after the opposition to registration, there is one more step called correction and amendment. This step is provided in order to rectify the errors that have been made while making the application, or the modifications of the details that are mentioned in the application form. So sometimes it may happen that the person who has applied may commit some errors, may commit some mistakes. So in such a case, if the registrar feels that it shall be corrected, if he thinks fit, he may allow the person to rectify the mistakes and the details will be corrected, and such corrections will be allowed as per the decision taken by the registrar. Now, after correction and amendment step, the last step is the registration. So, registration of a trademark is dealt according to section 19 of the Act, and registration of trademark is accepted in two conditions where there is no application opposing the registration or intended registration of the trademark, and second one, if there was an opposition and the opposition has been decided in favor of the applicant. It means the objection raised by the opposition have been cleared and there is no fresh opposition here. So in these two cases, the registration will be complete, and the registry will maintain the name of the registered trademark. The details, name, and other things will be entered in the register, and the things which are to be maintained, the documents which are to be maintained properly will be maintained on the trademarks registry. Once the registration is over, the person who will get the registration is called the registered trademarks proprietor, and the symbol or the mark which is provided is called trademark, and the registrar may amend the register, may issue a registered certificate or certificate of registration in the name of the registered owner once the registration process is complete. Normally, the registration process is complete within the period of 12 months from the date of filing an application, and sometimes, due to some reasons, the registration process will not be complete within the 12 months. Then, in such a case, where a registration of trademark is not complete within 12 months from the date of application by reason of default on the part of applicant, then the registrar may, after giving notice to the applicant in the prescribed manner, treat the application as abandoned. And when the application is treated as an abandoned one, it is completed within the specified time in that behalf in the notice. So the application is normally abandoned if it is not completed within a time period of 12 months. Therefore, the registration process is complete once the registration certificate or certificate of registration is handed over to the applicant. Having known the procedure for registration, now let us see the duration of registration of trademarks. For how many years the registration given is valid? So the registration of trademarks is valid for 10 years. So once it is registered, it is valid for 10 years, and after the completion of the validity period, that is 10 years, it can be renewed from time to time. It can be renewed from time to time, and when applied for renewal, it is again extended for 10 more years. So the renewal of trademarks is possible, and 10 years time is given for renewing the registration of trademarks. So the person who is intending to renew his trademark has to apply before the expiry of the registration, even though if the registered owner or the proprietor of the trademark does not apply for uh, renewal of registration, the name will not be struck from the registry, but the person who is intending to renew his registration can apply within a period of 6 months from the date of expiry of the registration. Therefore, all that we need to know here is the duration for registration is valid for a period of 10 years, and it can be renewed from time to time on the payment of prescribed fees. Even though if a belated application for renewal is filed, then also there is possibility of renewing the registration of trademarks by the registrar office. So now let us move further and see regarding the infringement of trademarks. What is actually an infringement and how infringement will happens. So a registered trademark is infringed by a person who, not being a registered proprietor, or a person by way of permitted use, uses in the course of trademark which is identical with or deceptively similar to the trademark in relation to goods and services in respect of which the trademark is registered. So, in simple terms, infringement is nothing but the violation of registered trademarks. If a person is already the owner of a registered trademark or the proprietor of the registered trademark, the other person who is not at all related or not at all owner to the trademark is not supposed to use the trademark in his name or in his business or on his products. If he does so, then it is called infringement of registered trademarks. So sometimes an infringement of trademark is likely to cause confusion on the part of public also, or which is likely to have an association with the registered trademark. A trademark or a mark which is identical with or similar to the registered trademark and is used in relation to goods or services which are not similar for those for which the trademark is registered, and so on. Therefore, a registered trademark is infringed by a person if he uses such a registered trademark as his trade name or his trademark, which is not proper or which is not correct. So, on a total basis, what can be said is a registered trademark is infringed by any person advertising that of trademark if such advertising is taken an unfair advantage taken an unfair advantage to use the name of another person and is detrimental to the distinctive character of the registered trademark, the trademark which is already registered, and the infringement is causing some detrimental action or detrimental interest to the original owner, or if it is against the reputation of the trademark. If the person who is infringing the trademarks uh, trademarks value or position is causing damage to the reputation of the registered trademark owner, then it is called infringement of trademarks. Sometimes some activities do not come under infringement of trademarks if it is in accordance with the law, and if it is not in such a position to take the unfair advantage of the position of trademarks, and is in accordance with the honest practices that are there in existence in the industry and do not put any or do not pose any problem to the registered or proprietor of the trademarks. And sometimes a trademark is not infringed when the use in relation to goods and services indicates the kind, quality, quantity, or intended purpose of the characteristics of goods and services, and a trademark is registered subject to any conditions or limitations. Any conditions or limitations, and the use of such a trademark in any manner in relation to the goods to be sold or otherwise traded. In these cases, it is stated that does not lead to infringement of trademarks. So, when we see that there is an infringement, there should be a person who is not being the registered proprietor of the trademark and uses the trademark which is identical with or deceptive in nature to the trademark in relation to the goods or services in respect of which the trademark is registered. Therefore, in order to say that there is infringement of trademarks, there shall be some potential loss, or there shall be some possibility of damaging the reputation of the proprietor of the trademark. Then only we can say that there is some infringement of registered trademark. And many activities which are taken up honestly according to the provisions of the business do not account for infringement of trademarks. But in some cases it may happen that when the action taken or when the activity adopted by one person is having some detrimental interest or causing some detrimental loss to the registered or the proprietor of the trademark, then in such a case the infringement is taken very seriously. Therefore, infringement is not permitted under the Trademarks Act. So now the question is, what if there is some infringement of trademarks? So first, we should be very clear that unauthorized use of trademark is punishable under the Trademarks Act. Not only under the Trademarks Act, but also under the common law also, the unauthorized use of trademark is not permitted. So now, assume a situation wherein a person is facing a problem of infringement of his own trademarks, which he is the registered trademark owner or the proprietor, and a certificate of registration is available with him. But some person who is making some unauthorized use of the trademark, and what he is supposed to do. So he has got many remedies available to him, and three remedies are noted here. One is filing a suit for infringement under the Trademarks Act. So he can move to the court of law, or he can go for appellate board by filing a suit for infringement of the trademark that he is owned by him, and he can mention the reasons how the infringement has happened and seek a remedy there. Therefore, he can go for filing a suit for infringement under the Trademarks Act. And apart from this, also he can go for initiating action again under the common law also, because unauthorized use of trademark is not permitted under any type of law. Therefore, the person who is aggrieved can go for initiating action under the common law also for the loss or for the problem that he is facing. And third one, he can go for initiating criminal proceedings also. Then he can go for filing a criminal case against the person who is involved in the infringement of the trademark that is owned by him. But for this also, there are some defenses that can be taken up. The defendant may argue that the plaintiff has no title to trademark. This is possible. He may argue that there is no title to trademark. Then, in such a case, he has to face it. Then, the registration of trademark is not valid and should not be allowed. This is also one reason wherein there can be a claim that the registration of trademark is not valid. And third one, the use of a mark by him does not constitute the infringement under some section of the Act. So in this case, the position will become difficult, and it has to be decided whether the infringement has really happened or not. Therefore, before deciding whether the infringement has happened or not, it is important for us to see whether infringement of trademark has taken place or not. Therefore, the relief for infringement could include an injunction to restrain the threatened use on the or the continuance of the existing use, and at the option of the plaintiff, either damages or profits, and the order for delivery of the infringing labels and marks for discretion So, for destruction and all these things can be demanded as a relief of infringement under the remedies that are available against the infringement of trademarks. So, therefore, remedies against the infringement of trademarks include three types. One is suit for infringement under the Trademarks Act, second one, action under common law, and third one is initiating a criminal proceeding against the wrongdoer. Thank you.